Like, comment, and subscribe.
Our inheritance is turned to strangers, and our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. We are drunk in our water for money, and our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given our hand to the Masrayan and to the Assyrian to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have seen and are not, and we are born their iniquity.
Shalom, Mashpaka. Shalom, Kate Judah. Thank you for coming out. I was gonna put it on waiting, but I do that for emergency or whatever. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started on what I was going to discuss today. So today I want to talk about changes. I noticed that there's a lot of changes that happen in our life, you know, a lot of decisions that we make and decisions that other people make for us, and things just happen sometimes. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to come on here and talk about some of the things that we have changed in our life, if we should have made those changes, and should we retort back to some of the things that we changed. And I'm going to use our television shows to briefly, well, maybe, if y'all willing, to go over some of the things that we have changed in our lives. All right, so let me go ahead and get into it. Like the brothers say, without further ado, we're gonna get into it. So here you go. And this right here is talking about the 80s TV show series that used to come on television. And if y'all remember, it's a lot of shows that they had out there. You know, they had the TV guides and all that. Was it a good change for businesses that created the TV guides to stop making TV guides? Was it a good change for that? So we got MASH right here. Now, I remember coming home after I had got done, you know, watching cartoons and everything. Late at night, this show right here would come on, MASH. And I remember sometimes I would see it just come on to my mom. She probably would turn it. But at my grandmama's house, great-grandmama, that was one of the main shows that would come on. And it came on CBS. And they started, you know, they was making pretty good money. You know what I mean? The actors, people was able to go home, feed their children. And a lot of the stuff that was on back then, I don't recall now because I was little. They had TV programs. They used to have something called consistent control, where you had PG, you had TVY, TV for children, and all that. So now since it's all mashed all up and everybody's arguing about what's going on, look at what CBS had for the genre here. It said comedy, war, and politics. But when you look inside of these TV shows as a child, you didn't see a lot of lewd and obscene things on television. So let's go on down right here. And you had Cheers. You know, Cheers used to come on at nighttime when we was real little. Cheers was a TV show that I think came on right after The Simpsons. I was little, I stayed glued to the television. Okay, and that came on NBC Network. And then you had Happy Days came on. Look at all of the actors. So you see all who was the actors that they showing right here was the top TV shows. All right, and then you see right here the team. Me and my daddy used to sit down together inside of the living room and watch this. And remember this, a lot of us didn't have no television in our room, and if we had one in there, we had to go and find one and build it or whatever. But a lot of us didn't have no television in our room, and some of us probably still had color TVs in our house. All right, and so that was that TV show, Magnum PI. I'm gonna show you two more, Magnum PI. And I remember we used to watch this with my daddy. It was one that a guy used to have his hand up as a hitchhiker and all type of stuff. And this right here was on CBS. Then you go right here. This is Night Court TV. I promise two more. Hopefully I ain't gonna go one more over. Night TV. I didn't really watch this too much, but they integrated the actors in. So this was number 6 right here. So you see they integrated with the actors in there. All right, and we're gonna get into the other part as well. And then you had MacGyver. This was 80s TV shows now. And at the bottom you see the other one. That was my mama used to like to watch that. But Brother Roland Martin was bringing out something that made a lot of sense. You know, all these years we've been fighting as a people to get on the TV. You know, that's where everybody can get notoriety. You get on this TV show right here, you can get on this channel, and a lot of these channels didn't have like the entertainment, the things that we was looking for as a people. You know what I mean? And you see how we got YouTube, we got Instagram and all these different things, and we come on here, some of us come on here and we talk about, well, why we not supporting one another's apps? Why we not supporting one another's stores? What are some of the things that we let go that we should have holding on to? And did we ever have a community where we as a tribe of people would help one another? Now, I can't post up my grandmother's store up here. You know, my grandmother, she had an ice cream. She used to sell ice cream. She used to sew clothes and make clothes. And I remember going to school, my grandmother she had our clothes was custom made. So in school, they used to talk about I'm wearing skats, and I bought into it. And I thought that, oh, I'm wearing skats, I need to get what they got. But in reality, I had on designer clothes and didn't even know it. And my grandmother had her own signature that she used to sew inside of the clothes. And I didn't even know what I really had. But you see this Paramount and all this different stuff. You look at Publix, even Publix look different. Everything. And back then, I remember back then, people was trying to figure out about 2000. All us thought the world was going to end in 2000. We thought it's going to be robots to be carrying your plates and all type of stuff. A lot of us was thinking about going into space, and a lot of this stuff, it was ideals that came to us because a lot of us, when you know, in our off time when we went outside playing, because we went outside more, we exercised more, we had more activities that we did. You know, I remember my sister and them used to play hopscotch outside. You know, and all the children was outside riding the bicycles, and if we got in a little fights and everything, we grew on each other. You know, we played throwback outside without no helmets, no pads. We played throwback outside, tackle football. We played basketball together. We was hanging around each other. That's called communion. You know, community is where you commune at. But in a community, in a place where you say you can't commune at, that's not a community. You know, that's and we also, and notice what we call our blocks. We call our neighborhoods, we call them blocks. And you know, inside a prison, they call that the block. And when you go outside in the yard, In prison, they call when you going outside in the yard. And the schools look like prisons. The lunchroom looked like the prison lunchroom. And we had a lot of leaders telling us about the school to prison pipeline, and that came true. But when we had granddaddy and grandmama in the house to make sure that the little girls wear they slip too high. You know what I mean? They couldn't wear their clothes like they wanted to, because inside of us there is something that's called nature. And with us, and some of us, we feel like our nature is a sin. It's not a sin for a man or a man to desire a woman. It's not a sin for a woman to desire a man. But a lot of that came by, we wanted to censor ourselves, and that's good to censor yourself. Men should be men, women should be women. But we could have grown in the right way. But when we started letting all this integration stuff happen, people integrating and protruding inside of sacred places, like the place where you used to sit down at the table. I don't know about y'all, but my daddy used to sit down at the table with us, and we had to commune with each other around the table. You couldn't just go in your room and take your plate in the room. Everybody had to come and sit down at the table, and we talked about family business. We talked about grandmother, what she needed. We going to grandmama Moochie house next week, or whatever we was planning on doing. We going to Disney World. We sat down as a family around the table. You know what I mean? And we did our pagan celebrations that we could have grew away from. You know what I mean? Family could have grown together and grew away from that. The sister that come to church without no clothes on, she could have been given clothes. You know what I mean? But what we did is we allowed all this other stuff to integrate and protrude inside of what we had going on. You remember Toys R Us? And I don't know, a lot of y'all, we used to go inside the store, and it was either Walmart and before Walmart, but we used to go inside of the stores like Toys R Us and go and play with the video games and go in there and play with the toys. And while mama was going around shopping, a lot of the children used to go and play in the toy section, and we used to play with Billy Bob, and Billy Bob them used to play with us. Nobody didn't know that, the parents didn't know that we was over there playing and getting along. Billy Bob was telling what's his favorite color, whatever we had going on. But children have a natural tendency to be normal, to be natural. Shalom KC Inspirational Tales. And that's what I think a lot of us is missing. Remember when y'all used to go to the playground? Y'all ever went to the playground and got on a merry-go-round with Hector and with Susie and with Karen and all them before they started calling the police just for you going to barbecue? You remember the times when you got along? And when we started growing up, is that really growing up, or was that growing away from normality? You can't play on the slide no more, Karen out there with her cell phone. You know what I mean? You can't grow your garden no more. Somebody gonna say this is against the policy for this place over here. So what we call growth, I don't see it as growth. You know what I mean? I see it that we are grown away from normal things. You know what I mean? You can't go and pick, I remember there was older people in the neighborhood. You go and run inside their grass. You got to hurry up and get out because the old man gonna come out there and the children running and playing together. All that stuff that we did together. And then you grow up. And we had a hardware store in Polk County in Haines City. There was a hardware store in Polk County. It was called Scotty's, and this is before Walmart had came out. There was a store called Scotty's, and I don't know, Walmart was probably still on duplexes. And there was a store came out called Scotty's, and Scotty's sold drywall for like 50 cents, family. 10 cents for drywall. You know what I mean? You could buy a whole door for like $10, maybe 10 or $5. You could buy a front door a whole front door for maybe about $15. 15 bucks. Candy was like 2 cents. You know what I'm saying? What is we growing with? How is this growing? How are we growing when you go and buy drywall now, it's about $200 for one drywall. How is it growth? And how is everything getting better when the television itself used to be around about $15? And the tape players, when we say we're going into modern technology, we getting better. Instead of people allowing the tape player to become a better product, we just dump it all because people that's trying to get on top, knocking the other one down. You know what I mean? You see Prime Video, what I'm looking at right here, this Amazon and this Paramount and Pluto, and also including the Negro stuff. If they weren't gonna work with y'all, which would have been like they was doing when they was playing on the slides and stuff, working together inside the school on projects and all that right there. They didn't do that no more. Now they get inside of this American dream that they got, and then they have to assimilate to the beast, because you do know that that the world is given over into the hands of the wicked, and that the scripture says that Hashatan is the God of this world. So when we look at all this stuff, everything that we're going down, we're not going up when everybody is all for themselves. You know what I mean? And so when you had Miss Scent Store, well, we used to go, and I always bring up Miss Scent because we used to love to go over there to Miss Scent Store, and my homeboy Marky and Boogie and them right around on Tangerine. We used to go out there on Lemon Street, and they was selling fish plates over there, and the line was so big till you couldn't even hardly get inside of there. You know how you go to I don't know if y'all can ever recollect a line this long where it fill up a whole block with everybody going to get a $2 plate. He could afford it because the community was supporting. The neighborhood was a community. We all sat down. I sat down with the man, the elder that stayed right across from my homeboy Tydrell on Tangerine, you know, and we used to go and sit down with him, and he talked about how children don't play with rocks, because that's how I lost my eye, and different type of stuff you learn from everybody. Boot Babers, the policeman at that time, where our homegirl Joanna and them stayed at, her daddy. My homeboy Jay, his daddy was I think the chief of the police. He stayed right in home village where we stayed at, right across from the cemetery. We stayed in a place that everybody call Run Down. And my homeboy Tubby, that's locked up now on a life sentence. You know what I mean? And Victor, my sister's ex-boyfriend, and all them go. So is this elevation? Is this elevation that we're going backwards instead of going forward? And what is forward and what is backwards? When our sisters and our brothers used to have to present themselves modestly, or the old lady gonna tell your grandmama that you came outside with everything showing. What is growth? What is growth where the men of the community can't come and protect the sister because you got somebody in the house gonna call the police because the brothers came over there and handled business because this man was over there done did something to a female he wasn't supposed to. You can't handle business no more because the police gonna come out there and tell the brothers that's handling business, put your hands up and put it behind your back. And people say, well, the men need to be men, but you got people that's halting this. And then you got the women that want to be women, but a lot of them don't get the moral support. They don't get a listening ear, so they can't teach the little girls how to be girls if the girls is not sitting under the elders. If it's more cool, when you say cool, you got to be popular, you know, in order to sell your products now. So now you got to disregard your brothers and sisters, because that's what look like, that's the way that you get by. You got to go and take jobs in the government and choose to disenfranchise your people. Okay, Sister Casey, you got to disenfranchise your people in order to make it because that's who get paid. The people who get paid is the people who disenfranchise one another, but the ones that don't get paid. And then you got another sector of people that think it's a sin for you to get paid for your labor. So you got all these things going on, and then you got a lot of preachers that's only preaching for the money. Remember the song Grandma and them used to sing, preaching for the money, but not caring for the soul? So we got all this going on. People that really should not be preaching. People that really should not be teaching. People that really should not. This sister, she always had a dream of making hats. And you got another sister that always had a dream about making shoes. But because this sister hat business going well, she now trying to create shoes and hats in order to run this sister business down. You put one business, there's called a competing business. So if you put a business beside another business that's doing the same thing, like you got Hess gas station, and then you got another gas station, you got the Shell gas station right beside each other, and then you got them gouging prices to run the other one out of business. The other one, they trying to keep their prices at the same rate. And then you got other one with the popular stuff over here. You got this one with they got Shaq to come over there to sign autographs over there. They go over there. They don't come over there to the Shells. They go over there to Hess. They over there at Hess, and they signing autographs and everything. So everybody say, well, I want to go and see Shaq. Ain't nothing wrong with you want to go see Shaq, but the Shell gas station that sell your potato chips for 50 cents, they getting ready to go out of business. They still trying to sell eggs for the price that grandmama and them used to buy it for in the 90s, in the 80s. They still trying to sell their bread at a good rate. But we're going over there to the other gas station because Shaq over there, he signing autographs, and Penny Hardaway, he over there, and he signing autographs and everything. So these people got to halfway go bankrupt and try to get an actress to come over there. So they get Denzel Washington, and that's almost half of everybody's budget. And then the people that's working there say, well, if we don't do something, the boss is saying if we don't do something, we're gonna lose this store, and we're not gonna be able to serve our community. A store is supposed to be there as a service, not as a burden to the community. Rent should not be a burden to pay. Rent should be just a fee you pay so that the people, so that the landlord should be able to protect you from things that you shouldn't have to worry about. Shalom, pure repentance, kingdom is at hand. A landlord original job was to protect his tenants, or her tenants, but back then it was his tenants. So the landlord job was to protect the tenants, to make sure that things go well with them, to make sure that they have a place to stay. You know what I mean? So they was there to maintain, for maintenance and different stuff. So you would pay them a fee to do a job. But you got a lot of landlords, they don't want to fix nothing. They don't fix no pipes. They don't fix your walls. But they want you to pay them money so that they can sit down and calculate money. So when you see these things going on, when you see this brother that's trying his best to build a housing duplex or a complex or to build houses, and you don't go and stay in one of those houses, but you want to go and stay in the house you seen on TV that you can't afford right now. But if y'all work together, y'all can afford the things that y'all seen on TV. But if you was acquainted with what life is all about, the things on TV won't matter as much if you as a people is getting along. Shalom, Mother April Showers Network. You would want to be, how to on the Friends. Let me go back up to Friends. You remember on Friends? The man say, that's Cheers. I didn't go to Friends yet, but Friends was an 80s TV show as well. Friends say, sometimes you want to go, where everybody know your name, where you always glad they came. You want to be where your friends at, but when you trying to be a star in whatever venue that you're doing, because people think, oh, I'm trying, that's for people that's on TV, that's for people that's a track star, that's for them kind of people. When you want to be a star investor in yourself, when you want to be a star investor in somebody else, then you're gonna have to leave out of the hood where you feel like it's a trap. It's a trap because people in there trying to jack one another. In a lot of places, they trying to fight each other to the top instead of working with each other to the top. You know, ANSYS, we did a video on ANSYS a while back. ANSYS work together to build a kingdom. Whatever you're born as, that's what you is. So when a Israelite is born an Israelite and don't want to be what they called to be, don't want to be what they're supposed to be, but they want to assimilate inside of other people's culture and try to force assimilation on your people because they feel like this is the roadway to success. And these Negroes just don't understand that in order for them to be successful, they got to be cutthroat and be a shark and bite and slaughter one another. And like our brother Runaway Slave said, you can't build no community like that. You a tribe can't build like that. So there has to be a separation. It's a sad thing, but it got to be a separation. If you cannot work together, the best thing to do, like my granddaddy used to say, if y'all can't play together, then y'all don't need to play with each other. If y'all can't stop fighting and all that, then y'all. So that's why a lot of our people say, why you acting, excuse me, why y'all trying to be white? You know what that mean? But a lot of people take things to offense. What we saying is, why is you trying to, white people is supposed to build and help white people, right? That they gonna make sure that if they want their coffee shop to stay up, white people gonna go in there, and sometimes they just want to go where everybody know their name. Billy, Bob, and Joe, and Hank, and them gonna come together and make them a baseball team. But why the Negroes can't pitch together and buy us a team? We're looking for Michael Jordan to buy a team. Michael Jordan bought that team. Was that for the community? I ain't trying to rag on Mike. But what I'm saying is, as us, what are we gonna do? Can we build our own league? Or are we going to be investors inside of a brother that say he want to build a football league for children of 16 and up to come in and play in, and they can make a living out of that? What are we going to do? When you see the children out there playing, can somebody make a GoFundMe or something? What are we going to do? What about the cities around us? We want our children to be athletes. We want our children to be opera singers. We want our children to be ballerinas, but there's no ballerina place where the children can go and get a job being a ballerina. What are we going to do? We cannot say it's not about the interests of the people. It's going to be about the interests of the people. So what are we going to do? The interests of the people is, a lot of them, they like to do radio. A lot of them, they like to do clothing. A lot of them like to make soap. A lot of them like to make, there's a lot of things. Look around you. A lot of us like to do artwork. We like to draw. We like to paint. There's a lot of us that like to be speakers. There's a lot of things. How can we incorporate this as a people and let us come up with a real plan? And if I give it all out here, I'm not the leader. I'm just a brother. I'm just a brother telling you the things that I see. We look out there in the field, in the vineyard. What can we see? We say, well, I can't hang with them. The longer you stay away from the truth, cuz them ain't gonna do nothing but get worse and worse, just like we is, because we separating ourselves from what we supposed to be doing as a people. And the question is, are we going to perpetuate this, or are we going to grow from this? Are we going to realize our mistakes? How Walmart was able to put prices down really low, and Scotty's go out of sale, and now Walmart don't even sell drywall. Now you got to go to another store where they selling you drywall for about $200. $200. And you got a child that want to be inside of a program that's where that money got to go. So the child got to sit back and wait until you can fix the wall on the house so they won't get sick. Now the child got to wait. They got to walk to the school instead of you picking them up from the school. Now you got to walk. See, it don't matter if you got all this upgrade. It don't matter if you got the fastest cars. It don't matter if you got all this new stuff. If people can't afford it, you spent your money in vain. Just like a person that go and buy a whole bunch of fruit, knowing that they can't eat all that fruit at one time. And a lot of that fruit is going to go spoil. That's the same thing when a person open up a business and they selling batteries for $40 a pack, and a person, it take them 2 hours on the job to make that, because they making $20 an hour. But for some of us, for most of us, we ain't getting no $20 an hour on the job. There's elderly sick people. There's elderly people that would love to go and support a lot of these things. But if tickets is $500, how they gonna come in now? Now, I noticed that a lot of us will go bankrupt to go and support who we like. But what about Lil Jimmy? What about Lil Jaquan? He trying to start up a baseball team. Where's the adults in the community instead of letting the baby dream die? Don't let his dream die. Help him. And that's what we supposed to do as a people. Give and it shall be given unto you. What's that? You invested in your people. Give. So the people that say the Bible is done away with, the law is done away with, well, you can look at it on a carnal point of view, because whatever is done in the spirit, in the ruach, is supposed to manifest in the physical. So if you see a sister that wants to do something for the youth, to have a place, a alternate place where you can go to take them to school, where they won't have to worry about somebody calling them Nigger at the school, then you should have an alternate school. If the other school is acting good, then you should be able to be able to give donations to that school that refuse to call your children Nigger at the white school. And if they say we would love to have some of your students over here, and we would give you some of our students, and we can collaborate with this thing, and whatever we make and whatever you make, we'll give a percentage. We don't do that. What we do is fight, nab, stab, and grab. And if they don't want to do it, why we ain't doing it? Why we not doing it amongst one another? You see what I'm saying? And that's it. You know, if the lions don't save no food for their cubs, the cubs is gonna die, and that's the whole generation gone. So the whole purpose of them being inside of a pack, it ain't gonna work. It's useless. They might as well all go out there and get all ate up by the dingoes and the jackals and the hyenas. They might as well just say, you know what, forget about it. Let's go all and be meat and be food and lay down somewhere. Even though we can be strong, all those who say they are a remnant, all those who say they're going to heaven when they die, All those who saying they going up to yonder. There's so many people that say they going to heaven when they die. But in order for us to see the evidence of that, there needs to be a lot of people showing love before they die or before they change come. So this is what I want to come on here and briefly talk to y'all about. You know, I wanted to come on here and just tell y'all some of the things that been going through my mind and let y'all look at this through, you know, what things that we changed. You know, is it okay for a sister that used to love to play with Barbie dolls now, in order for her to be cool, she don't even want to play with her Barbie doll no more? She want to pretend, and a brother want to pretend like he still don't like to sit down and watch the Looney Tunes every now and then. He don't want to see Speedy Gonzalez no more, because when he was younger, he let all that go. He let all that go. He let go Speedy Gonzalez and all of them, because he wanted to get along with his friends. And now that he's older, he wondering if he should be able to watch TV. Don't even think about it no more. Don't even think about going out there in the park no more. We don't even enjoy the park no more. A lot of us, we think we too old for the park. We can go out there and at least try to swing on the swing. Do we even swing on the swings anymore? The park is empty. Everybody walking, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people is walking around with their head down. And I'm finna say this before I go. There was a movie that Tupac had did with Janet Jackson back then called Poetic Justice. And I remember seeing in that movie, I don't know if that was a real family reunion and they just allowed them to come in and do the film over there. But it was like that back then, whether we want to receive it or not, where you can always go somewhere and you can see a whole bunch of family members together with the grill rolling and with everybody out there laughing. You know, you got that uncle out there that rip, and Tupac said his name, Uncle Pete. Everybody was getting along. And you know, if Pac came back and all of the rest of the people could come back and see how everything is now, I wonder how they would feel. For a lot of people that say that I'm the one, I'm this, I'm that, what would a lot of these people that done went to sleep, if they came back and seen how a lot of us is acting, what would they feel? They came back and seen the condition of the hood where they left. How would they feel about that? How would Elder Martin Luther King feel to come back and see inside of the church is females in there twerking in the church and a man in there twerking in the church? How would Elder Malcolm X feel? Would the people that say that Elder Malcolm X was a terrorist, would they feel righteous and without their conscience hurting them? If a lot of the people that people think that they are so righteous, then even I believe Judas Iscariot would be ashamed if he didn't make the decision he made, if he was able to come back and look at a lot of stuff that a lot of these people that call themselves leaders are doing. Because even Judas Iscariot committed suicide, something that he wasn't supposed to do. He placed that judgment on himself. And like the Apostle Sha'awal said, he didn't repent the right way. What would he feel if he was able to come back? What about Nabal, the very fat man? He probably be the homeboy of a lot of these greedy people that got money inside their pocket that they can invest inside of their community. People should be able to come and borrow from their own people, but they got to instead go and retort to begging banks that already done let you know by action that they have made a determination to redline you at every given moment. This is what I want to bring out to y'all today. And I'm finna and Shalom and thank you, Pure Repentance, Mother April Showers, Kate Judah, and Casey Inspirational, and all those who are listening in the background, and all those who will come here after. This is some of the things that I think about and I pray about, you know. And sometimes it's hard to write a song when you got all this stuff going through your mind, and it's good to have your family you could be able to come on here and express yourself and talk to about some of these things, and knowing that my people is not going to get offended that come and listen at me telling the truth, because there has been a grave change. every change ain't a good change. I pray that we would love one each other as y'all command us to. Amen. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Yaquaba, for sharing. You welcome, Pure Repentance. And if you are willing, I see you on another live. If you're going to be over there with Pastor Kelly, if anybody else go live, I see y'all over there. K. Judah, Mother April go live. We'll see y'all there. All right? And who else here? And the KC Inspirational. When you get out work, y'all tag my name in there and I come over there and try to show up. All right? And I want to thank y'all for coming. And please don't forget to hit that like and that share. And I'm going to play the song that I had did with a sister. Just a look. I'll play the song and then I'm finna get off of here, family. All right? Shalom. Matter of fact, I ain't going to do that today. I'm still praying about that, but I'm finna go ahead and exit off of here. And the song is ready. The song is ready. But I'm finna do the outro. And y'all, remember, just dust your feet off at the back door and take it to go plate. All right, shalom.